Whitney headed back to her suite here at the Beverly Hilton Hotel.
The bodyguard pulled Whitney out, called 911, and frantically tried to revive her, but it was too late.
I'm gonna make it now, and it's gonna be good.
If you had to name the devil,
that would be me.
Whitney Houston, whose voice touched the hearts of millions, left this world on February 11th, 2012 at just 48 years old. Nicknamed The Voice, she was one of the greatest music artists, with 220 million records sold worldwide. Her major accolades include 8 Grammy Awards, 2 Emmy Awards, 16 Billboard Music Awards, and 30 Guinness World Records. Not only this, she was the only artist with 7 consecutive #1 singles on the chart. But how did she end up unconscious in her bathtub with water in her lungs and cocaine in her system?
The bodyguard pulled Whitney out, called 911, and frantically tried to revive her, but it was too late.
Her untimely death raised many questions and controversies. The autopsy findings revealed that Whitney's unofficial cause of death was accidental drowning, with atherosclerotic heart disease and cocaine as probable contributors. Once a soaring star in the music industry, Whitney Houston's journey took a dark turn as she battled with substance abuse in the late 90s and early 2000s. However, against all odds, she managed to reclaim her life and find sobriety after 2007. Yet, the shocking truth emerged. After her untimely death, a significant amount of drugs were discovered in her body. This revelation was shocking for her friends and family.
I'm gonna make it now, and it's gonna be good.
Shattering the image of the reformed icon they thought they knew. From the soaring heights of fame to the depths of personal struggle, Whitney's journey is one of triumph and tragedy, painted with vibrant colors and dark shadows. From singing in church to star-making Super Bowl renditions of the Star-Spangled Banner. From rumors of dating legendary Michael Jackson to marrying a kinda bad street guy. From being a good church girl to being caught with substance abuse to the life of pop princess was full of twists and turns. And the death was even more complex and mysterious than her life. At one moment, she was talking to her mother on the phone, and in less than half an hour, she was found submerged in the bathtub. What transpired during those critical moments? Was it a tragic outcome of a substance overdose, a sudden heart attack, overwhelming stress, or simply a dreadful accident? The questions linger, shrouding her final moments in a veil of uncertainty and intrigue. So, let's jump into the complexities of Whitney's life, where fame and addiction danced on a razor's edge, leaving behind a legacy of both brilliance and darkness. On August 9th, 1963, a star was born in Newark, New Jersey, and that was Whitney Houston. Nicknamed Nippy by her father, young Whitney was surrounded by the soul-stirring melodies of gospel music from an early age. Her mother, Cissy Houston, was a Grammy-winning gospel singer. Her father, John Russell Houston Jr., balanced roles as an entertainment manager and a respected Army veteran. Her mother's cousin was the esteemed soprano Leontine Price, and Dionne Warwick, with 6 Grammy wins, was her cousin. With that kind of pedigree, it was no surprise when Whitney's talent shone through at an early age. In the early 80s, she tried fashion modeling and caught the eye of industry scouts at just 16 years old. Soon she graced the covers of esteemed magazines like 17, breaking barriers as one of the first Black women to do so. She became a background singer for her mother, who would open industry doors for her. But it was her powerful and soulful voice that led to such meteoric stardom, from backup vocalist to international sensation in just a few years. In 1984, she made her debut single, Hold Me, and the rest, as they say, is history, and the beginning of a slew of Billboard hits. Then in 1985, Whitney released her self-titled debut album, featuring the chart-topping hit, Saving All of My Love for You. This not only helped her secure her first #1 spot on the Billboard Hot 100, but also the first Grammy Award, marking the beginning of an illustrious career. Whitney's chart-chopping streak continued throughout the 80s with hits like How Will I Know and Greatest Love of All, solidifying her status as a music powerhouse. And then in 1988, she shattered world records and surpassed even the Beatles and the Bee Gees on the Billboard charts with Where Do Broken Hearts Go? But behind the glitz and glamour, Whitney struggled with personal demons that threatened to derail her career. Her relationship with R&B bad boy Bobby Brown raised eyebrows, challenging the perception of the good church girl with the bad boy persona. Despite this, Whitney got married to Brown in 1992, but as anticipated by many, her marriage was going through rough patches, abuse, miscarriages, and a lot of drama.
I wanted to do the right thing, and all I'm trying to do is guide her to the right place in her life.
Amidst the chaos, Whitney made her silver screen debut in The Bodyguard in 1992. The film's soundtrack became a cultural phenomenon. Even music legends like Mick Jagger and Natalie Cole couldn't help but be captivated by Whitney's magnetic charm. Who could have imagined that her once majestic voice would falter due to addiction and self-destruction? Despite her professional triumphs, Whitney's personal struggles continued to overshadow her success. The only way for Whitney to escape the pain of a toxic marriage was to consume drugs, but it does nothing but add to her sorrows. Her voice continued to betray her in the late 90s. She would have to use lower keys in live performances, and Whitney's habits took a dangerous turn when she gave birth to Bobby Christina Houston Brown in 1993. She admitted to Oprah Winfrey that she started mixing cocaine with her marijuana joints. In 1999, she canceled 5 concerts, and in 2000, she was caught with marijuana in the Hawaii airport. And at the same time, she was supposed to appear in an Oscar performance, but at rehearsals, she seemed disoriented and could not remember a word. Whitney's appearance at the Michael Jackson 30th anniversary event in 2001 painted a grim picture of her deteriorating health. Stick-thin, with bones in her clavicle showing, she was no doubt a walking advertisement for the evils of drug abuse. Battles with substance abuse and legal woes continued alongside, leading to a highly publicized interview with Diane Sawyer in 2002, where she famously declared, "Crack is whack." Diane Sawyer asked her, "If you had to name the biggest devil," the pop artist replied, "That would be me." You can imagine the intensity of the inner turmoil she was facing back then.
If you had to name the devil,
That would be me.
Her tumultuous marriage, featuring drug addiction, physical abuse, and infidelity, ended in 2007. Whitney sought treatment at a Caribbean rehab center at Crossroads. However, her troubles were far from over. But before we dive into the next chapter of her life, let us tell you, if you're captivated by Whitney's legacy and crave more intriguing stories like hers, hit that subscribe button now. Bobby Brown's sister, Tina Brown, sold a sensationalized story about her drug use to the National Enquirer in 2006. This betrayal left her heart broken, but she began a journey of recovery with the help of renowned voice coach Gary Katona. Her determination to reclaim her voice and her career was evident. However, after she flopped the Nothing But Love tour in 2010, she had to enter rehab again for outpatient treatment. And then in 2012, Whitney returned to the silver screen with Sparkle, released after her death. Though the movie was not a box office hit, it was an indication that Whitney was returning to life.
Respect, getting an education, and having a relationship with the Lord. If you can't do that, then go.
But fate decided something else was in store for the star. On the ill-fated day of February 11th, 2012, the world saw the tragic end of one of the world's greatest music artists. On that day, Whitney was getting ready to join her longtime friend and mentor, Clive Davis, at his annual pre-Grammy party. Despite appearing normal during phone calls with her mother at 3:15 p.m., she was discovered unresponsive in a bathtub in less than 30 minutes. Her assistant, Mary Joan, had been with her all day. When she briefly left to fetch Whitney's dress for the party, she returned to find her unconscious in the bathtub with blood coming from her nose. Within 2 minutes, police officers arrived in her suite, and officers immediately attempted CPR in Houston, but tragically, Whitney was pronounced dead at 3:55 p.m. In the week before her death, Houston's behavior appeared erratic. She was spotted being sweaty and distressed on many occasions, with visible cuts on her hand and leg. Though she was cheerful at later events, her unusual behavior at a press event raised many eyebrows. Was this bizarre behavior an indication of something? Was there anything troubling the singer? Many questions were left unanswered, and we lost one of the greatest artists. After hearing of Whitney's death, Clive proceeded with the event and paid tribute to Houston. Meanwhile, Houston's ex-husband dedicated part of his live performance in Mississippi to her memory. Other renowned artists at the time expressed their grief in public statements. Houston's funeral took place in a private ceremony on February 18, 2012. At New Hope Baptist Church in Newark, New Jersey. Houston was laid to rest the following day in Newark, beside her father, John Russell Houston. Following her death, investigations started surrounding her untimely demise. The coroner's report indicated Houston was found face down in a bathtub, with injuries suggesting she may have fallen in. Forensic analysis suggested Houston may have been incapacitated before entering the bathtub. Additionally, drug paraphernalia, including crack cocaine, was found in the bathroom. Toxicology reports confirmed the presence of various substances in her system, with cocaine deemed the most significant contributor to her death. However, there was no indication of foul play, deeming it an accidental tragedy. though her assistant was suspicious that Houston may have been murdered, as her personal belongings had been rearranged in the room and the driver's license from her wallet was missing. Authorities, however, could not find any evidence of murder. But an exceptionally strange incident happened 3 years after Whitney's death. Bobby Christina Brown, her daughter, was found unconscious in her bathtub, just like her mother. After being hospitalized for 6 months in a comatose state, Christina died of lobar pneumonia at the age of 22. Isn't that both weird and heartbreaking? The tragedy of Whitney's death followed her daughter, but it's still unknown if it was a natural death or murder. We've now come to the end of the tale of Whitney Houston's passing. Her life was filled with success, sorrow, and obvious brilliance. Whitney Houston will be remembered for her soulful voice. Her timeless music continues to inspire generations. With the release of the new biopic, Whitney Houston, I Wanna Dance with Somebody, fans new and old are getting a closer look at the life, career, and struggles of a generational talent gone too soon. Unfortunately, the glittering allure of stardom often carries its own dark shadows. Like Whitney, countless celebrated artists have been unable to weather the storm of fame, meeting their untimely ends in tragedies equally as heartbreaking. If you hunger for more tales of celebrity mysteries, subscribe to our channel. But do you have a particular star in mind already? Drop a comment below and we'll uncover the story just for you.